in Rampur, Chitwan with a diploma in agriculture science. He has also worked at a rural development project at Jajarpur. One thing that drew him towards the leftist politics was the poverty which he had witnessed throughout his childhood. Today, we applaud him for his vision to lead the nation towards economic development while moving ahead in the spirit of national consensus during his premiership. With these words, may I now request His Excellency Right Honorable Pushp Kamal Dahal Prachanda, Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal, to kindly deliver the much-awaited keynote address. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Ministers, President and Office Bearer of Chambers of Commerce and Industry from both India and Nepal, senior officials from the Government of India, members of my delegation, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for providing me this opportunity to interact with the leaders of Indian business and industry. I have brought with me the captains of Nepalese business and industry as part of my delegation. Our message is clear that in the age of globalization, we can find better future only if government and private sector march together. I hope our business delegation will fully utilize the valuable time by engaging with their Indian counterparts in explaining business and investment linkages between the two countries. Dear friends, many of you are aware of Nepal's political transformation. My party led the 10 years long armed struggle from 1996 to 2006. It was a struggle against poverty, backwardness, and injustice deeply influenced in our society for centuries. Thousands of people sacrificed their lives dreaming for a new Nepal, a developed and prosperous place where justice would prevail. Dream of new Nepal had two facets: political justice and economic betterment. After entering into the peace process, we spent the last 10 years in the process of political transformation. From armed struggle to peaceful, democratic and inclusive political process. With the promulgation of the Constitution last year, we have been able to lay the foundation of justice-based polity. We are aware of the demands for further improvement in sharing socio-economic benefits. My government is committed to accommodate the demands in the best possible manner. While political process has started to take a course, economic agenda of New Nepal is yet to take a concrete shape. After political settlement, the economic prosperity is our sole agenda, for which foreign investment is vital. As politics is getting stabilized, law and order situation has been significantly improved. Nepal is therefore being a safer destination for foreign investment. When it comes to growth and development, India under Prime Minister Modi's leadership is setting a great example. Being on the top among major economies in receiving FDI, you are the favorite destination for foreign investors, and Indian investors have their investment in many countries around the world. My message to the business leader in India: if far-flung corners of the world can be your destinations, Why cannot the next door Nepal? Nepal, though a small country, can be an attractive business avenue by which you have the market of 2.5 billion population in these two neighboring countries. Tell us precisely what we need to do for you and your investment there. We are ready to listen and we are ready to reform. Let's make a common pledge. You commit to make Nepal your next home for business. We commit to create the best possible business environment for you. Dear business leader, in terms of policy orientation, Nepal is pursuing a liberal economic policy. Government is only a facilitator and we see the multiple role. We see the multiple role of private sector as key actors, as innovators, as entrepreneurs, and as leaders in the domain of economic growth and development. Over the years, we have taken steps to promote trade, investment, and growth of the private sector. In our pursuit of growth and development, we have reduced tariffs, simplified tax regimes, and focused on the development and operation of trade-related infrastructure. You will find Nepal much ahead of many countries in offering attractive incentives for investment. Yet we believe more can be done to reform the investment regime. We are continuously working on this direction. Our parliament has recently endorsed the SAGE bill, Special Economic Zone bill. This provides strong incentives for industry, including liberal labor law. We plan to establish SAGE in major industrial centers of the country, most of which will be in the plain land next to Nepal-India border. We have made administrative procedures simple and doing business environment in gradually improving Investment Board of Nepal, whose CEO is with us today, provides big investor all kinds of advices related to investment in Nepal, as well as one-door service and facilitation. We have favorable fiscal environment. Our tax slabs are low. There is no income tax on dividends and export earnings. We exempt tax due and fee on the key inputs used by an export industry. In this pursuit, similar simplified tax arrangement by India may support trade and investment for mutual benefits. We permit full repatriation of income earned from investment. The same rule is applicable to reinvestment. Foreign companies registered in Nepal can purchase, own and sell land. We provide various sectoral specific incentives of various kind and scope. There is no discrimination between Nepali and Indian investor. Our law guarantees that no private industry will be nationalized. We are in process of ratifying BIPA signed with India. Double taxation avoidance agreement has also been signed. Public-private partnership is sought and promoted, including in large-scale infrastructure projects. We have abundant labor force, which is cheaper and reliable. Latest census shows that working age population has increased to 57%, which is high even from developing country standard. We have improved industrial relations, including through reform in labor law. Dear friends, the pattern of trade and investment in 21st century is shifting. economics are integrating and production process is disintegrating. Value chains are on the rise, strengthening of which would be beneficial to both of our countries. Yet, infrastructure remains at the core of economic development. We have given top priority to cross-border connectivity. Our cross-border infrastructure are improving. Railway connectivity is being established at 5 different points and modern integrated checkposts at 4 places. Both of our countries are working in concert to improve cross-border roads. Bilateral motor vehicle agreement has been signed and operationalized between the two countries to make movement easy. We have opened up almost every sector for foreign investment. This includes manufacturing, hydropower, tourism, services, IT, mining and agro-based industries. Hydropower offers us a vast potential for development. Proper utilization of Nepal's hydropower resources would help transform our economic landscape. Our two countries can seriously work together to convert huge water resources into wealth. We have already reached 2 big hydropower deals with Indian companies. We have signed power trade agreement with India. We are encouraged the government of India is reviewing its policy and regulation to implement the free market provisions of power trade agreement. Transmission infrastructure is being strengthened. First double circuit cross-border transmission line is now operational and second cross-border transmission line is being developed. Tourism is another lucrative sector for investors. We are gifted with the beauty of nature and treasure of culture and civilization in which we are closely linked with India. We are receiving a larger number of tourists from India every year as pilgrims, vacationers and business delegations. It is an opportunity to invest in facilities to cater to this growing number. Development of supporting infrastructure is essential to drive tourism industry. We are developing regional international airports at two prime touristic hubs of Pokhara and Lumbini, and more are in the pipeline. Investing in tourism sector will definitely be a wise decision. Agriculture and herbal processing is another area where we invite your investment. This is viable because of varied altitude and topography available in Nepal. I am confident that today's interaction will help infuse much needed confidence among the prospective investor to move forward with the concrete business and investment proposal in Nepal. Before I conclude, I would like to share with you and that I have had the productive discussion with Prime Minister Modi ji and other senior ministers in the cabinet about expanding and consolidating economic and commercial ties between our two countries. We also discussed promoting bilateral cooperation for the development and expansion of cross-border connectivity in all forms. I am very much encouraged by positive response received from the Indian side. All we have to do is to capitalize this opportunity. I thank you for your patience and once again for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, for your encouraging messages. Sir, you said that for India, liberal labor law